Hey kindergarten, today we're going to start a project focusing on color and collage. And so we know that collage is when you glue pieces of paper together to create an image. Today we're going to start the background. So just like usual, you're going to put your name and your class code on the back. I'm going to do that. And then so to start, we're going to paint our background. So let me flip this over. And so the first colors I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you white and I'm going to give you blue. And so when we get started, you're going to need a medium or a large brush from me. And so with our medium or our large brush, you want to make sure that you get your brush wet so it glides across the paper. And also when you're painting, so this is going to be the color for the sky, save some room for a strip of green down at the bottom for our grass. All right, so I'm going to get started. So when you start to paint, you don't want to mix this all into one color. Well, it looks really cool if you kind of leave some streaks. So let me kind of show you what I mean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip my brush into my blue. And then I'm also going to dip my brush into my white. So I have two colors on there. And then so I'm going to start at the top. Don't worry about if we get paint on the table. We can clean it up later. And so sometimes when I see students making an art piece, they just do a line of sky right at the top. And that's because your brain is thinking, oh, the sky is above us. So that makes sense to you. But actually, if you look at like outside and you look at the outside and the trees and everything, the sky comes all the way down to the ground. So you're going to go all the way to where you want your grass to go. So the reason I'm having you use a mix of blue and white is because it kind of lightens it up and it kind of makes it look like there's like these little streaky kind of cirrusy clouds in the sky. So I kind of like to go over and kind of leave that a little bit. It has a nice effect. And so also remember to keep your brush wet so your brush glides across the paper. Notice that when I'm painting, I'm not scribbling with the brush. I'm going side to side, so I'm not going like this because that's not the marks we want. You want to go side to side. All right, so now I have my brush and my brand new water. And so I'm going to leave that right there. And so now I'm going to give you a plate of green and white. And so it's kind of like the same process. We want to show the different types of greens. So we want to show the light greens, the dark greens, and all the greens in between. So this time with your brush, what I want you to show is I want you to show the texture of the grass. So I want you to make marks going up. It's okay if you do a little bit of flat, like side to side, but just no scribbling. So I'll show you kind of what I mean. So I'm going to mix a little bit to make my light green. And then if it mixes a little bit, that's okay. I'm just going to go swish, swish, swish across I'm dipping it into my regular green now. That's okay that looks different because there's all different colors of grass. So I am going up with my brush. Sometimes I go into the white. Sometimes I go into the green. You want to overlap. So you want the grass to go over so you don't have any white space between your sky and your grass. So you're going to keep doing those swish marks till you get to the bottom. Remember to go all the way and cover up all that white space. And look at that wonderful texture that I just gave my grass. It almost kind of looks like real grass. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this into the garbage and I'm going to wash off my brush. All right, so now it's time to build our train tracks that our train is going to go on. So I'm going to give you some strips that kind of look like this, and you're going to have to form the train tracks. And so you might have to do some cutting. That is okay. That's what I kind of want you to do because this is collage, because we're forming a picture by gluing pieces of paper together. So I got my glue bottle. I made sure it was open because I have the top little white part is showing. Twist that. Now it is open. So I'm going to start to form the long strips of my train tracks. With these skinny strips, please only use just a little bit of glue. Go right from the edge. This is going to be the bottom track. Line that up. Just a little dot. And then I'm going to line this one up. If I have extra, which I do, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut that off. So same thing for the top. 1, 2. There we go. And now you're going to cut these into short strips so you make your train tracks. It almost kind of looks, well, it does kind of look like a fence, but next time when we put the train on top, it'll look a lot more like train tracks. All right, so remember to put this on the drying rack. All right, so before we get started forming the train, I'm going to show you how to draw a little smokestack for the train. And so when you get started, kind of work up in this corner because we're going to use the rest of the paper for some wheels for the train. All right, so you draw horizontal line. Let me zoom in a little bit. That would be a little bit smarter, Mrs. Mullins. All right, then what you're going to do is you're going to make 2 diagonal lines that don't touch, just like that. Then you're going to have 2 vertical lines going down like that, and then close it off with a horizontal line. And then, so I'm going to turn this. You don't have to turn it if you don't want to. But then I am going to make some ovals or some circles for some wheels. And then we are going to cut this out. All right, so now I have my background back. I have my pieces for the train. If you keep your black piece of paper, because you might need to make more wheels if you need to. But so I'm going to be giving you some colored squares that is going to be the pieces for the train. And it's up to you what order you want to do it in. You don't have to make a rainbow train if you want to, but if you want to, you sure can. And then, so then you're going to start to glue this down. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to try this. So I want you to glue. You're going to kind of look where you want to place that, that section of the train. And I want you to glue the wheel down first. So the top of the train is overlapping the wheel. So I glued my wheel down first, and that's going to be the front of my train. So the front of your train is the one that gets the smokestack. Glue that down. And then you just keep going in whatever order, color you want it to be. And you can make it as long as you want it to go. You can also make some details on there, maybe with Sharpie, that would look nice. So after you do your details on the train, then what I'm going to give you is, I'm going to give you some fluff, and this is going to be for like the smoke that's coming out right there. Oh, it's going to look so cool. So here's what I want you to do. Usually I don't want you to put a lot of glue down, but for this you're going to put a lot of glue down. All right, so I'm going to put glue where I want it to go. I'm going to give you a little bit of floof, and then you're going to kind of press it. If you get glue on your fingers, that's okay. That means you're pressing real good because we want that floof to stick. And there we have it. There we have our collage train. Thanks for watching.